Yeah, the game is rigged. The game is rigged. You know, one thing that my OG told me, you know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I was stepping more into eating just fruit, veggies, and herbs. And the female that I was indulged with, she liked to go eat fast food, junk food, processed food, and just, she never could cook. She would cook, but I would never eat that shit. It'd be trash. Basura. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that my OG taught me, you know what I'm saying? He said, it's about, you know what I'm saying, the things that y'all socialize with. And if they're not compatible, then the relationship that y'all have is not gonna last long. And I was like, damn. But it was the truth, and I accepted it for what it was. And at the moment, you know, just like hot water does not reside with cold water, and cold water do not like hot water. You know, so the game is rigged, man. It is highly rigged. And in order to be part of society, you have to be social, and you have to be a socialite. And to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Everything I say, take it with a grain of salt. I don't eat where you shit, and you don't shit where I eat, you know what I'm saying? But society, you know what I'm saying? The higher that you go into society, in my eyes, that's the faker that a person is. Now, I'm not saying when you display different personas that you're fake, because the way you talk to the homies, you know what I'm saying, is definitely different when you're having conversations or you're interacting with your mama or your parents. You understand what I'm saying? So to that degree, I don't mean that it's being fake. You know, it's just different levels of respect and ways you could be loose in certain areas you had to tighten up, you know. But society is rigged. Everything is all fake. You know what I'm saying? And to be a high figure, big face in society, you just gotta be more in tune with the world and less in tune with your real self. And I don't do the small talk, because it's like the more you have the superficial conversations and you do the small talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like you giving away pieces of your soul, because the more you be your authentic self, the more you be who you are and say what you truly mean, that's the more that your soul is watered. That's the more that your soul grow. You understand what I'm saying? And society is filled with a bunch of people who may have a lovely looking flesh, lovely looking outside, but their souls are rotten, because just to be something, to be entitled, they would rather give away their authenticity, or the fragments or pieces of whatever soul they have left. You know, I don't even indulge, and I don't even like the small talk. Even though sometimes people that love doing the small talk, they show me different calibrations of themselves. But you know, I take everything with a grain of salt. Believe half of what you hear and half of what you see. But being a energyologist, energy never lies, right? Society is rigged, man. It is rigged like a motherfucker. I remember being a child and my mama pulling out the Monopoly board for the first time. And throughout half of my life living with my mama, she always was a banker, right? So for her to pull out Monopoly, that just went to show me that she had different ties in either the Masons or the Freemasonic or some type of shadow government group. But you know, I always kept one eye open, that first eye, which you'll call that third eye, right? And I always looked at the world like, man, this is her way of trying to indoctrinate me and teach me a certain way how to carry myself, which I highly respect because, you know, I grew up with my granny as well. That's why I started in my granny's arms because my mama was doing her thing. So my roots, they were they were stretching, and my roots were grown in a righteous way, very strong because growing up with my granny, I learned unconditional love and I learned right from wrong and I learned the things that will water my soul in the long run. I learned more about my inner world growing up with my granny. And then when I moved in with my mama, you understand what I'm saying? I learned more about my outer world, my physical, my appearance, how to carry myself like that. And then I also uh, grew up with an uncle, but I always went from different households and different family members. Whenever school was out, I was always at somebody else's house. But my main basis was from my granny to my mama to my uncle, right? So my granny, she was, she taught me about and she showed me how to grow like that rose that was in concrete, right? My granny taught me about the root structure of my life. And then my mother, she taught me about the flowers, the fruits that bloom off my tree, right? And then living with my uncle, he taught me about the nutrients, how to make sure I have strong roots, how not to get root bounded, and also about trimming and pruning and picking the fruit so that the messages will be delivered to my roots that, hey, we need to produce more and we need to send more nutrients upwards. And at the same time, we need to stress our roots because the thing about a tree is it grows two ways. The root structure is always growing and the branches and the leaves are always growing. As above, so below, right? So that's one of the most beautiful aspects about a tree is that it is growing two times in two different ways at one time. As above, so below. It's a beautiful concept. It's beautiful how the tree works. And excuse the radiation, weapons in the background. They got you know, like somebody told me that was part of a secret society. She said, yeah, the background characters are important as well. Yeah, they are to a certain degree. We got the low lives, the no lives, to each his own, but I don't knock no man for his hustle, but it's an easy way to get money. But I used to do landscaping, and one time I said, man, this it's like you on a hamster wheel, the grass is going to grow once again. And then, some landscapers like to put the fertilizer or the nutrients to make the grass grow even more and even greener so that they'll be called for their services. And I was like, man, it's just like you going in circles, man, with this landscaping. It wasn't feeding my soul, but it did give me some nutrients for my tree of life. You know what I'm saying? My roots of knowledge, wisdom, spirituality, intellect, right? But what I'm saying is, there are two type of different roads. Well, there are multiple roads. Some roads are dead ends. Some roads are one ways, which still leads to a dead end to me. Some streets are two-way streets where everything is reciprocal. I water you, you water me. And the greatest lane that I ever discovered was the interstate of abundance, right? receiving and eating from the fruits of your labor. It's beautiful. So I tend to catch myself always on the interstate of abundance. You know what I'm saying? And that's the road that I will always be on and forever be on, the interstate of abundance. I went down the dead end street on the skin of my teeth. In the grace of the Most High, I was able to bust a U-turn. And that's when I was with the wrong people. But I am accountable of my actions, my decisions, my choices, chances, and changes. But yeah, I was in the car with the wrong people, or should I say I had the wrong people in my car. And they tried to lead me down the dead end street, so I just had to let them know, hey, this is why I let you out. And I was able to make a U-turn just in time. Knowing that time itself is a man-made construct to keep you complied and controlled without questioning on a hamster wheel, right? You know, you got to go to work at this time. You have an appointment at this time. I remember going to the library in, was it Tempe, Arizona, and I saw the sundial, the way that they usually measured the moments of life. You know, with the sundial, you know, you got the shade and you got the sun creating a certain amount of shade, let you know that maybe it's noon before they got so micro detailed about, oh, it's 4, 5, 5:30, 5:01. You know, time is a man-made construct to keep you in a perpetual loop and to be a slave. And, you know, moments in my life, I don't care what time it is. I don't care what day it is. I'm just living life because, like a lot of my layas will always say, is that, yeah, you do prepare for the future, Vabo. And I don't really be hearing you dwell too much in your past, but one thing I can say is that you truly live in the moment. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know. But sometimes it'll hang on my ear instead of going out of one ear and out the other. You know, it'll hang on my earlobe like an earring. Because sometimes the women that I had in my life, they did say some precious things and pointed out some things to me. Even though, you know, the nature of a female is just very manipulative. You know, it's her way of surviving. Well, in this modern day society, that was the way she was hardwired. There's only a few of us that burn the bush, and everybody else is beating around it. Now, like I was saying, everything is rigged. Society is rigged, and then part of and in order to be part of society, you have to be fake with yourself to a certain degree. And I refuse. I'm a reclusive. You know what I'm saying? I reside and I dwell within my own energy as much as I can marinate. Yeah, I get a job every now and then. I go to the grocery store. Sometimes I go to the library. Had to cancel my gym memberships. Too many weirdos. Like the club for weirdos and harm buckets. You know, smut buckets. A bunch of smuts. You know. And yeah. They got the weights in the gyms, and then they got the showers in the gyms. That's like the greatest features they got. Sometimes the massage chairs are cool, but sometimes my body need that pain. And then I think about those machines in the gym. They're not really healthy. I mean, like the massage bed, because you're laying on negative electricity. And if you're really in pain or you're sore, what's wrong with the self-love and rubbing yourself down? So I also canceled my gym membership because I don't go there to talk to nobody. That's supposed to be Zen mode for I. I is vital, you understand me? And yeah, man, the gym is just is lame, man. It's whack. It's filled with a bunch of motherfuckers who need outside validation, and I don't want nobody to look at me. I don't even care if nobody talk to me. I want to be unbothered. And people are bothered when they see that you are unbothered, so now they feel that it is their business to bother you. So I canceled my gym membership. The showers was great. Even some of the weights was okay, but lately I've been working out with cinder blocks and just using nature. You know, my pull-up bars or whatever strong branches I could find on the trees. My dumbbells have become cinder blocks, massive rocks that I could find in my immediate area. Or sometimes I'll fill up a gallon or 2 gallons or maybe 3 gallons of water and seal the top up as best as possible. And I'll lift all three of them, sometimes two, sometimes 1 gallon of water. And that's my dumbbells. Now, when it comes for leg weights, you know, I just use the cinder blocks for my weighted squats, you know. But who want to pay to be at a circus? Who want to pay to work on sweaty equipment that thousands of people didn't touch in a day? Not I. And also, I developed and I found out that I receive way more energy. I have way more reps. I have way more stamina. I always get a third win, a fourth win, or a fifth win when I'm working out in nature. When I'm working out on the branches of trees, I'm working out on the trees, practicing my handstands and balancing my body on the trees, right? But you know, this ain't about this ain't about that. It's just a little, you know, little cut I want to give you to stop the bleeding. Because what don't kill you only make you stronger. So you got to build up your resistance. Now, the game is so rigged, right? Especially when it comes to these 9 to 5s. You know, because if you're not gonna gossip, you're not gonna do the 1-2 with your coworkers. You know, you're not gonna humiliate yourself, embarrass yourself. Then they pretty much don't want you at the job. You could be the greatest worker. You could be able to work everybody's position. But if they don't like your character, even if your character is noble, I thought it was all about the work ethic and making sure that the job get done righteously. But the last jobs that I performed at, they always lately, they've been saying, yeah, we got to see if you're a good fit for us. Who is us? And what do y'all fit into? I don't get in where I fit in. I fit in where I want to get in. I am the eagle. I am the phoenix. But I also do have some chameleon capabilities. Not to fake the funk, but just to adapt to my environment. And a lot of people are chameleons, so they could fake the funk and they could try to fit in where they could get in. But I get in where I want to fit in. And see, the thing about society, the thing about this world, the thing about all of this that's going on is it all is fake. It is all fake. You know? And it was a moment I was in rage mode because I just see the world. I go to the store and see products say one thing, but the ingredients from a first eye and using the spiritual using the spiritual eye, the spirit of discernment. It's like they're saying one thing, but the actions that was put into whatever activity, a product, or item is saying something else. You know, like for example, let's say if you go to the store and you go get some Goya coconut water, it says more than just coconut water. You know, and that's why this world, especially in the United Snakes, the divided snakes, is a lie. You'll go to other countries and eat the same things, but you'll lose weight and you'll be more healthier, less lethargic, and more energy because it's less preservatives, less monoxides, less fluorides and yellow files and stuff like that. You know, it hurt in my heart when I found out that a lot of these carrots, not even orange, they spray paint a lot of the fruit, veggies, and herbs. Well, not too much the herbs, but really the veggies and the fruit to make it look fresh. You know, they Monsanto, Bill Gates, and his partners, they created a patent to where they say that specific organics can be and will be mold resistance, but that is a lie. That is going against the forces of nature. They even created some products and some clothes that are said to be waterproof. But let's say if you wrap them same clothings with bricks and threw it at the bottom of the ocean, I guarantee you they will soon wither away. They will soon decompose. It's just like air conditions. You know, I went to school for HVAC, electrical, and solar panels. And I realized that the same air that you breathe in your house from the air conditioner, it may keep you cool, but it's also poisoning you. It's another preservative. You understand what I'm saying? Think about how many people who wouldn't have air conditioners will wither away and die. Because even in the AC unit, that nitrogen and the RS50 or whatever different solutions that they use in the air coolant, right? It has preservatives, and these preservatives are killing you because the natural preservatives is longevity and self-preservation, and you are what you eat. And a lot of people eat to live. I mean, a lot of people live to eat, when in actuality, you're supposed to eat to live. And this world done got so far-fetched with chicken and waffles and cinnamon buns and Starbucks. You know, just a bunch of sugar bots. And sugar rots the body away more than anything. Staying on topic, this world is rigged. And come to find out, when they say the rabbit hole is deep, in my mind's eye, that just mean that everything is a lie and you just gotta swim through lies from lies from lies to lies to get back to the surface, to breathe and get that oxygen. You know, this world is like waking up and you realizing that you are in the Antarctic or you are in Alaska and you are under the water and you're trying to scrape away all the ice that you are under so that you could finally get back to the surface and get fresh air and breathe again. And that fresh air is basically like the truth. And they say sometimes the truth is hard to swallow. And you just made it from under all of those different layers of ice. And it kind of hurts to take that first deep breath. But it also feels good because your body is now receiving the oxygen and the nourishment that it's been deprived from. Because the lies of this world, the lies people tell themselves, is the more they lose pieces of their soul and they step away from being authentic and being them true selves. But the more that you live in your authenticity, the more that you live righteously, and the more that you live in your truth, that's the more that you live in your soul. That's the more that you keep your soul. And they say if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. And I also break records that the world would respect me for when I'm gone. They would love to give you your flowers while you're gone. And that's how messed up this world is, how fucked up this world is. But they refuse to give you your flowers while you're here. You know why? Because some people are like aphids. Some people are like mosquitoes. You know what I'm saying? They'll never admit that you the reason why they stayed alive. Because you ain't swapped their ass. You ain't smashed them. You ain't hit them with the raid. Because you know, like a roach, or a mosquito, or a parasite, it's going to go from host to host. But the more you are authentic, the more that you are pure, the more that you seek that aflaron, yansemi, that's the more that you increase your natural insecticide and pesticide without even harming the environment. But you can kill them easily, you know. For example, worms and parasites, they cannot exist in an alkaline body. But long as you eating McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, you eating steak and shake, you eating lobsters and shrimps and crawfish, then you're creating an environment for these parasitical entities to exist in. No difference from the more that you live in your authentic self, your righteous self, and you stand up for what you know to be true. Because they also say what you believe, you can also find the words in the middle that say a lie. And I'd rather know something than believe something. Because if I know that tree is poisonous, I'm not going to touch it. But see, if you believe just because she got makeup on, she look beautiful, she look good, you already deceiving yourself just as much as she's deceiving you. And that's what this world is filled with, a bunch of makeup. Try to make things look good. You're up 3 a.m. and you hear this commercial talking about this type of pharmaceutical. Yeah, we have a pill for mesothelioma. This will cure your mesothelioma, which will make it worse. Because they'll say that so slow, but all the side effects, they're 10 times the speed to make sure you don't even hear how many side effects you're going to get thinking that you're treating something. You never want to treat anything. You want to cure it. You want to go to the root and cut it out. You want to pull the weeds out of your safari and plant the fruit, veggies, and herbs so that you can receive the fruits of your labor, right? The world is rigged, man. Everything from these gyms to the occults, the secret societies, you know, to the racism, is all one big scam, one big lie. You know what I'm saying? That's why they killed Dr. Sebi, because the way that this world and this society is ran, it is ran off of lies and making it worse than what it really is, and saying and acting as if they're making it really better when it's making it even more worse. You know, I remember when I was fresh and I was able to walk outside, not with all these cameras everywhere. Now you see these parking lot cameras. You are trespassing the area. This area is now closed. I'm not even walking in the parking lot. I am walking across the street. But the more that you live into your authenticity and your organic self, your original self, that's the more that your aura spreads. That's the more that your energy spreads. And that's the more that this society fears you and hates you, because you will not be controlled or complied. It's like the horse, the movie named Spirit. They try to break that horse, but the horse stay resilient. You know, this world want to put a saddle on your back, so whoever put the saddle on you could ride it and tame you and break you and make you into whatever puppet they want. And then there's few of us, myself as well, that roam this realm of reality, these fields of grass without a saddle on my back. Free spirit people. People that have a free spirit. You know, and like for example, Christians are with Christians, Muslims are with Muslims, Buddhists are with Buddhists, and in actuality, a lot of those different religions also share similar truths, but in their own different type of colors, you say. But all the colors really create the coloring book. But some people are racist. So some people are hateful. Some people hate themselves and dislike themselves, so they don't want you to love yourself or like yourself. So they want you to break your crayons. If they got the opportunity to, they will break your crayons themselves. And you gotta protect your crayons, because the Most High wants you to make sure that your coloring book is fulfilled with the righteous hues and strokes. And the more that you stay authentic and you stay true to yourself, it's like the 64 Crayola box. You don't have to constantly keep sharpening your crayons till you don't have any crayons left.